Why are you not capturing my phone? I know I plugged you in. Hold on a second, my capture card is being a little screwy. Is that it? Hey, alright, there we go. Alright, yeah, technical issues. Alright, so, hey guys, another week, another stream. How we all doing? Three things before we start the stream today. Number one, there is a terrible thunderstorm outside right now. So if the stream suddenly dies, assume my power went out, and that's the stream for the night, because it's going to take too long to get everything set up again to begin streaming, if that happens. Two, got a new headset, not that anyone cares. And three, got a new keyboard, not that anyone cares about that either, but I care. That's what matters. Okay, anyways, let's get cracking on the new content. It's a rather interesting batch of stuff this week. We have, the Hot Scramble, a new variant of the Justice. I find it interesting that they released the Justice without the Freedom, but, yeah. Where's the new headset, though? Right here. In my hands. My old headset was really comfortable Sennheisers, but one of the cans just completely stopped working, like it blew out effectively. And yeah, it literally just deteriorated overnight. I have no idea what did it, so I had to buy a new headset. And I would have loved to get another set of Sennheisers, because oh my god, those are the comfiest things I've ever worn in my life. But they had none of them on the shelf, and I needed a headset. So I had to, air quote, settle with some Audio Technicas instead. They're not a bad headset by any means. The sound quality is really good on them, but the can comfort's not as good as the Sennheisers. The Sennheisers was just like this big soft ball sitting on your ear. These ones have a little more pressure on them, so if you don't encapsulate your ear properly, you can get some ear pains and stuff. So yeah, maybe I'd love to get another Sennheiser headset. As for keyboard, let me just unplug it here real quick. I still need to do some work on it, but it's a Ducky 1.2. Yeah, Ducky 1.2. It's a really nice keyboard. I'm a real fan of the switches on this one compared to my other keyboard that had blue switches. This one's a lot quieter. But I do plan on swapping out the keycaps and redoing the faceplate because I really don't like the white aesthetic. But it was the only one they had available that fit the needs I had, which was 10 keyless and still had a number bar at the top. So yeah, anyways, let's take a look at the new content here. Let's get this rolling. I do need to get to bed relatively early because there's the Fate Grand Order summer stream happening at 6:30 in the morning my time. So that's 7.5 hours from now. I'd like to get some sleep in me. And then I get 1 day of rest, and then it's like, actually, I don't even get a day of rest because tomorrow is Guild Wars in Grand Blue Fantasy. And then the day after that is the Night of Tales of Arise's launch, which is, yeah, I'm pretty much gone for that. All right, so let's take a look at our TR1. Oh, Unit 2. All right. While Gundam type, mid-shot attack raised by 14%. Gundam type is a really easy word tag to activate these days. It's available in a good amount of welfares. It's in a lot of the gacha stuff. Mid-shot attack, though, is not exactly the best buff to get because that refers to your neutral attack only, and it's for spacing purposes. When you're using a ranged weapon on an enemy suit, your reticle will change based on your distance to the enemy suit, and each type of weapon does bonus damage based on your distance. If you're using an SMG, a close range gun, and you get close up, you'll do more damage. If you're using a mid-range weapon like beam rifles, and you're mid-range from them, or mid, you'll do more damage. And same with long distance for sniper rifles and stuff. What this boosts is your mid-distance shot attack on your neutral weapon. So yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of alterations this week. I'm not looking forward to it. Numerically, ooh, that's actually kind of beefy. After change gears are in effect, this has 3,600, 3,700 shot attack. That's really, really high. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And it has the mid-range Gundam type tags. Both of them can be considered tertiary tags, so they're not your ace exclusive, they're not your commander, they're not your pro tag, they're not your mobile fighter. But they're a good third tag to have active that activate a bunch of really powerful traits. Not so much mid-range, but Gundam type for sure. But there are some things that mid-range will activate. Not a bad head, honestly. I'm not a big fan of the trait on it, but the stats are really good and the word tags give you a lot of flexibility. Alright, torso, critical up alpha. Your crit rate boosted by 53%. It's crit. It's not really that amazing. At least it's a high mod. Mid-range GM type, so we get rid of Gundam type and switch in GM type, sure. Statistically, we're looking actually not bad. 1,300 shot attack on a welfare torso. Damn, son. This welfare is actually packing heat, comparable to 4 stars. Not bad. Not bad at all. And it has the benefit of being able to slot in those extra marks because it's a 3-star, not a base 4-star. That's really good. All right. Arms. With technique attribute, buff EX skill effect up 15%. Remember that the way that buff effects work in this game, they're stacking. So for example, if you did a shot attack boost by 29%, but you had this, it'd be 29 plus 15%. So yeah, it's kind of silly, but that's the way they calculate stuff. Really easy to activate the technique attribute, 5 pieces with technique or more, you're good. And 15%, not a huge modifier, but considering it's practically free, if you lack anything better, why not? Numerically. All right. So we're looking at about, what, 1,500 or so shot attack on the arms? Yeah, no, for a welfare, again, really, really good stuff. Yeah, honestly, like, the Unit 2 just seems to have a lot of stats. It didn't skip leg day, that's for sure. Middle shooter job, very easy to get. Enemy EX skill penetration reduced by 22%. So that's how much of your physical resist, your defenses that attacks will ignore. In this case, EX skills. Really good for countering things that have high pierce, not really that useful when they have low pierce. And because the current meta is running things with high power, low pierce on the overwhelming average, this won't see a ton of effect. Some of the newer parts do have really high pierce, really high power, but again, I'm talking about the overwhelming majority here. All right, numerically, we're looking at about 1,300, 1,400 shot attack for a pair of legs. Do remember that typically the legs in the backpack have a really low stat distribution. So seeing them with good offensive numbers is actually surprising, especially on a welfare. All right. Still not a fan of the traits, but, All right, backpack. We got another boost skill. Try Booster Unit. Use the massive blah, 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 blah. Raise your speed by 20%, raise your melee attack by 19%, raise your physical resist by 49%. And as I was talking about with the arms trait, where it boosts buff EX skill effects by 15%, all of these would get boosted by 15%. Just literally slap 15 onto them as well. So, to keep in mind, 19% is one of the lowest modifiers we have available for offensive modifications, but the 49% in the resist category is one of the highest. Yeah. It's interesting, this suit. Numerically, 1400, 1500 shot. Yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff. Mid-range GM type still. Very interesting. When attribute affinity is neutral, melee power boosts by 25%. So what that means is you're effectively not playing into the affinity triangle. So speed is super effective to power, power super effective to technique, technique super effective to speed. It's the trinity, so to speak. What this means is when your attribute is the same as your opponent or whoever you're attacking, your melee power gets a boost. Now, if you're someone that runs a attribute neutral suit to begin with, so you don't have any attribute, this would be a one-size-fits-all solution. If you're someone that runs a speed, power, technique suit, this weapon is only going to be good against one specific type of enemy. And with the way that this game works a lot of the time, you're not going to exactly be able to say, oh yeah, I want to fight, I have a speed suit, I want to fight speed opponents. Doesn't always work that way. So I think it's going to be kind of limited use. It doesn't clash with Awakening, so that's a positive. Buffs are different than Awakenings, which are different than Alpha, Beta, Gamma skills. Yeah, I'm pretty sure buffs fall under like cutscene EX skills that give you boosts or something. I'm pretty sure that's the same umbrella buff type. Awakenings are their own separate tier, and you have the Alpha, Beta, Gammas, which are their own separate tiers as well. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Yeah, the EX skills just don't really cry out to me, they're okay for a welfare, but yeah. I guess though, then again, the raw stats of this suit kind of make up for that, because like it's really, really good offensively. Anyways, Beam Saber. It has the stats of a welfare weapon. Again, I'm not seeing like the weapons scaling up to go with the bot. Like if you look at the frame parts for welfares over the last few patches, their stats have been consistently going up, and we're at this like new plateau where they're really good, matching some decent 4-stars, right? But the weapons never seem to get the same treatment. Okay. Let's check out the gun. With technique attribute, shooting damage reduced by a flat number. Completely worthless. Oh, this one has slightly higher shot attack than what we normally see on welfares by a couple hundred. Alright, different. I can get behind that. When armor is this is the shield, for anyone that's not watching the video. When armor is 60% or more, shooting damage output boosted by a flat number. Worthless. Numerically, it's okay. Looking at about 1200 shot attack, but no beam resist and token melee attack. A lot of shot defense on this part though. Actually, I wonder. This kind of reminds me of like the Reborn's shield, with its stat distribution. I think like this is kind of like the budget. Yeah, I think this is the budget Reborn shield here with its shot defense. 4,700. Not shabby. And its other shield, the shield booster, with technique attribute, flat number, worthless. And it also has the same number distribution. So I guess it's kind of like an aesthetic choice. Do you like a more traditional style shield, or do you want a shield that has a big thruster on it? Take your pick. Okay, so overall, the Hazel Unit 2, it's interesting. I'm not a fan of really much of the traits on here. I think the arms honestly have the most like one-size-fits-all potential. The Beam Saber, I guess, has some use depending on very specific niche builds. But the rest of it, trait-wise, is really lackluster. I find the EX skills for a welfare, they're okay. They're not really amazing. They don't really bring anything new. Not surprising, though, it's a welfare. But, they're mediocre. But stats-wise, this thing's really nice for a welfare. So, all right, what else is in the shop today? What are our awakenings? Close Combat, Zaku, Ace Exclusive, Amphibious, and 4 Urban. What about our green plugins. Ranged, skill, and that's charge speed. Ooh, we're gonna have some fun. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's pop on over to the gacha, take a look at our shiny new Justice and Scramble, and our pilots. We'll try to not forget the pilots. We'll check out the Twitter videos if they've uploaded them, and then we'll pop on over to Alterations. So starting off, we'll take a look at the big Justice. Do keep in mind that this Justice pre-alter is normal size, but once you alter it, it becomes the big chunk. And if you have the full suit, when you're using it in battle, it'll be heads and shoulders above the rest of everything else. It's honestly a really cool little thing they added in. Statistically, big parts are very beefy, but they tend to lose out in the trait EX skill department due to that. So anyways, Justice Gundam Power Attribute Head. With Power Attribute, initial EX skill charge boost by 20%. Not bad. Not amazing. For a festival part, okay. You know, it's okay. High mobility Gundam type tags, both of them are tertiary, but at least they're something that's like, you know, decent, activates a good amount of traits. There's that. Numerically, we're looking at 3,700 shot attack. We're looking at about 2,300 melee attack. For a head, that's a lot of slappage. Are the stats doing the suit justice? I would say, based on just the melee stats on this head, yes, it's definitely Battlefest worthy. The tags, okay. Yeah, I'm actually truly surprised they didn't weasel in a Ace exclusive tag or something here to troll, you know? The trait is okay, the stats, pretty offensive, very low armor, but pretty offensive, and the tags are tertiaries. Alright, the torso, Meteor Unit. You link up with your high blah 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 blah. Raise speed of your squad by 20% and raise shot attack of your squad by 39%. A power D Pierce cutscene. Cool. I actually really want to see this in action because I've always been a big fan of the Meteor plugins from Seed. I really like what they do. And that's why I was really excited when I saw that the Strike Freedom had it built in. Although that one's not a cutscene, it's more just like a really quick, you know, pop and use. But it has a really shitty hitbox, all things considered. So hopefully this looks really cool. No complaints about this. The 39% will most likely be upgraded to 49% once we see the alteration. We'll see when we get there. For pre-alter parts, this sits at the 3rd highest available right now. It's pretty good. Actually, wait. Yeah, 3rd highest because we have 54%, 49%, and 39% for pre-alter. Good stuff. Good stuff, Justice. All right. Torso numerically. We got a lot of numbers here. So we're pushing about 2,600 or so melee attack on the torso, which is a lot of beef, and 1,500 shot attack. Frankly, it's no slouch in either offensive department, which is really nice to see. Do keep in mind that this is still considered a pre-big part, so the stats are just going to get better when we alternate it to big, because, you know, that's what big does. Okay, I have no real complaints about this. The stats are really good. It's got I think it's got a good EX skill. We'll have to see it in action to really figure that out, and its total range. It's got tertiary tags, which I think is a sole downside, but you can just subslot what you need. All right, the arms. Basal Beam Boomerang. Yep, you use your shoulder boomerangs and you yeet them. D power, A pierce, low cooldown. I'm just not even going to give you the time of day. You do no damage. You wet noodles. Melee attack is going to be sitting at about 5,400 on the arms, which is dope. Shot attack is a little more on the token side, 1,200. For a pair of arms, that's not really bad. It's not really good. But this is more so a melee suit than it is a shot suit, so gotta kind of give it a pass there. Still has the high mobility Gundam type tertiaries. Honestly, it's a pretty beefy set of arms in the melee attack department. Also, I personally think they look pretty slick. Just, you know, the EX skill's a real letdown. I wonder if this means the normal Justice will be added to the Perm Alter pool soon. Maybe. I don't think so, though, because I don't think limited suits get added to that, do they? Oh, okay. I guess the Kshatriya did, so it just got to get old enough. I have a feeling when they release, if they release the Freedom in the same style that they did the Justice, you know, another attribute and stuff, the originals may make it into Alteration then. Anyways, Justice Gundam Legs. While high firepower, EX skill power boosted by 40%. There's our big mod, 40%. And it looks like what we were talking about before has come to pass. As I was saying during the Super Sokai, we would have to see going forward what the new numbers are on non-Super Sokai, but Sokai or Battlefest parts. And it looks like the 40% is living on strong, even if the suit itself isn't a Super Sokai. This is the new norm, gentlemen, 40%. Yeah. Well, high firepower, yeah. This suit does do away with Gundam type, or sorry, this part does away with Gundam type and brings in high firepower as its second tag. So there's that. Numerically, we're looking at about 2500 melee attack, which is dummy thick for a pair of legs. Shot attack wise, we're looking at a little more reserved. We're looking at about 1150, 1200 shot attack. I say a little more reserved, but those are still stupidly high numbers. It's just when you look at the 2500 melee attack from carryover, Jesus. Okay, those legs are dummy thick. So there's that in a nutshell. Super Sokai will have 60 to 80% from now on. Frankly, I have no idea. What I would almost think is that the next Super Sokai batch we get, or rather the next Power Creep batch we get, will bump it up to 50. Because remember, it used to be 30% as the primary and then 35% as the secondary. Now it's 40% as the primary and 45% as the secondary. Or I guess 40%. Depends on the part, really. At least I think it does. I can't remember anymore. All I know is that the base number has been bumped up by 10%, and then the alteration's an even bigger number on average. Anyways, let's look at the backpack. Fatun 00, A-powered D Pierce, another cutscene EX skill. Nice. Squad recovers 48% of maximum armor, raise melee attack of your squad by 29%. It's a decent melee buff, not great, not bad. It's a very healthy heal. This will probably get upgraded to S power with alteration. Cool beans. Bog standard cutscene. Statistically, okay, we're looking at some nice numbers here. We're looking at 2500 melee attack. We're looking at about 1400 or so shot attack. A good amount of armor for a backpack. That's a lot of damage. Word tags are high mobility and high firepower, good tertiaries. And lastly, the shield, the laminated anti-beam shield. Infighter job, enemy shooting power reduced by 30%. Do keep in mind, this only refers to the suit that it's actually equipped onto, not to all the suits in your squad. So if you want the 30% enemy shooting power reduction, you are going to have to put this on your primary suit. At least the infighter job's really easy to meet the criteria for. Numerically, what are we looking at here? About 1500 shot attack, so roughly 480 or so shot attack carryover. Melee-wise, 2600, so that's like 800 or something. So you're looking at about 2300 melee attack on the shield. That's pretty good. That's really good, actually. Numerically, this is effectively like the Melee Reborn shield, it looks like, because it caps out at just under 5k melee defense. Cool beans. Cool beans. Alright. Well, I will say the Justice Gundam brings a lot of numbers to the table. Although that shouldn't be too surprising, considering when you alternate it, it does go to big, which is the stats. I wonder if the EX skills will be upgraded though as a flip, because typically the downside to running big parts is that the EX skill or traits aren't as good as their normal sized counterparts. So I wonder if the alteration is going to leave the skills as they are, or if they're going to upgrade them as well as the stats, because that could be nasty. Anyways, let's take a look at the Hot Scramble Gundam. Now, to note, historically, in other games that the Hot Scramble Gundam has been added into, it's been disgustingly overpowered. If you look at, what was... Man, my brain is drawing a friggin' blank right now. Versus. How did I friggin' forget that? So Gundam Versus, very powerful suit, very versatile, good. In Cross Rays, the game that came out, that was like 2 years ago now or something like that, when it released, it was just broken as shit at level 1 because it just had a bunch of really good flat stats out of the box. So I am on the flip side expecting really good things from this. Let's check it out. Alright, Hot Scramble Noggin. While Ace exclusive, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. We're starting off strong, I see. If this was general like EX cooldown reduced by 30%, this would actually be really, really good. Initial EX skill charge boost isn't bad, mind you, but in longer fights where you're going to use your EX skills multiple times, this obviously will only work on the first pass. We have Ace exclusive high mobility word tag, so that's obviously the best shot tag you could ask for in the game, and a very good tertiary tag as its secondary. Good stuff. What mic am I using? I am using the Audio-Technica 2020. That's the name of it. As for the pop filter I'm using, God, if I remember the name of it, but it's like this U-shaped one. I find it's actually really good for what it is. It cost me like $10 online. I used to use like one of those big windscreen palms and put that on, but I find that this is better for my needs. So anyways, tags, good. Trait, pretty okay, unless you're running content where you're going to use your EX skill a bunch of times. Let's take a look at those stats. So we're looking at about, wow, okay, about 5,100 shot attack and about 1,300 melee attack. Not bad, not best, but for a Battle Festival suit, holds its own statistically. Okay, let's take a look at the torso. When attacking with beam, shooting power boosted by 30%. Alright, it's very easy to attack with beam. We have obviously shooting beam and melee beam EX skills abound, but this does boost your shooting power more so than melee. It's kind of in the text. So you're going to see much more benefits if you use this on beam shot skills. We have a lot of those available, a lot of them at A power, a lot of them at S power, so you don't exactly have a problem with choice. You just gotta have the parts. Ace exclusive high mobility word tags again. Nice. Torso, what are we looking at numerically here? Shot, defense, not bad. Alright, so we're looking at about 2,400 or so shot attack on the torso. That's pretty damn good. As for melee attack, we're looking at about 1,700 or so melee attack. For a torso, that typically doesn't really break 2k offensive stats. Nice, I have no complaints here. Good stuff. Good job. The arms. Melee damage raised 20%, shooting power boosted by 40%. Do keep in mind, melee damage raised 20% is a absolutely terrible translation. It means you're taking 20% extra melee damage. I don't know why they haven't fixed this yet. Shooting power boost is obviously nice, being at the 40% highest current mod. Good stuff. Ace exclusive high mobility are still the word tags. Numerically, now this is interesting. So far, this suit has shown that it's been very shot-oriented. Look at the torso and the tags and everything. But for a shot pair of arms, this actually has a relatively high melee attack. We're looking at about 4,600 melee attack on these arms. It's pretty good. Typically, we'd see low 4,000s at most, typically mid-high 3,000s, if that. So this is really nice to see. As for shot attack, we're looking a lot healthier. We're looking at about 49, 5,000, sorry, I was looking at melee attack. Don't mind me. It's 11:30. Sleepies. So we're looking at about 2,800 shot attack. For a pair of arms, that is extremely high. I think the highest we have available is like 2,900 right now. So these are really, really good, purely numerically. The part trait, obviously, really good as well. You lose some melee you don't lose. You take some more melee damage, but you get a huge shooting power boost. As I say, just don't get hit. Big brain time in here. All right, those arms are dope. Let's take a look at the legs. Rapid thrust. Wow, we've seen that a dime a dozen. A- power, D pierce. So in every suit that I've seen rapid thrust, it's a terrible animation, terrible range. It's not worth it. Ace exclusive transformer. So we've tossed away our high mobility to get transformer. All right, sure. Numerically, we're looking at about 2,100 melee attack, which is pretty solid stuff, and we're looking at about 2,400 shot attack. Again, do remember legs and backpack tend to be the lowest in terms of offensive stats. The fact that these keep up with the torso, pretty good. Pretty damn good. The EX skill just leaves a little bit to be desired, but I guess you do have to have something bad on the suit, right? All right, backpack, Buster Beam Rifle, D Pierce, B plus power. This is the cutscene EX skill for the suit. Raise your shot defense by 29%. So no offensive buffs available on this, which is a little odd, but sure, okay. Ace exclusive transformer tags, and numerically we're looking at about 2,300 shot attack and about 1,400 melee attack. Numerically, I have no real complaints about this, but in terms of the EX skill, like that's kind of, it'll do damage, you know, B plus power, but as a cutscene base, you're gonna have to alternate this to really get any bang for your buck. Miguel, go away. Get that degenerate shit out of here. All right, we're gonna look at the beam sabers, the dual blades. After 15 seconds pass, reduce cooldown by 50% once. So this will be good for any content you're going to be in for more than 15 seconds. So that counts for longer story missions, perhaps some multi-missions. But for things like battle circuit, one-on-one arenas, even 3-on-3 arenas, you're not really going to get benefit from this 50% reduction because you got to wait 15 seconds. It's solid, you know, the numbers are high. It's not the most useful in the way that they expect us to, you know, play the game and get good points and scores and everything. That's a lot of friggin' lightning, holy crap. Numerically, we actually have token shot attack on this weapon after carryover. We're looking at about 600 shot attack, just under 5k base melee. And that's gonna, 9,300 melee after full mod pre-alter. Not great, not bad, kind of sits in that middle line, but this is primarily a shot suit, so I guess shouldn't really expect the beam sabers to be good. Yeah, so when it comes to the bingo, I always wait for suits that are just the frame, because in terms of investment to return ratio, once you go past the 5 frame parts, it's just like tedium and you're not really getting the great return value for your upgrading. Anyways, let's look at the Hot Scramble's beam rifle. Ooh, nice. 10.5k shot attack after, oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the mic. 10.5k after full mod, so that's going to be an 11k beam rifle. Good stuff. While Ace exclusive shooting power boosted by 30%. Sure, you're running a shot machine with this sucker. You're going to have Ace exclusive. It also comes with Ace exclusive and high mobility. I have no complaints about the beam rifle. Hits hard, good trait, good tags. And the shield. Mega Launcher. A Pierce, D power. Why? Medium cooldown, 15 seconds initial, 60 seconds overall. Unless it sees itself get pushed up to like B power, I can't really see this being fieldable compared to what we have available right now. Numerically, what are we looking at though? We're looking at about Not bad, actually. Nice stuff. So after full mods, this goes to 5.6k shot defense. That's significant. That's very significant. Before any marks, though, carryover, and yeah, hold on. I can do level... No, I can't do level 90. Oh, well. Anyways, so with carryover involved, our shot attack sits at about 2100 or so, 2150. It's a pretty good shot attack for a shield. Melee wise, we're looking at about 600 or so, purely from carryover. Neat. Statistically, I don't really have a lot of complaints about this. Ace exclusive transformer, good tags for shot machines, which this shield is clearly designed to excel in. I'm just not really that pleased with the crappy EX skill, but can't have everything, can you? Now, let's take a look at our pilots. We're going to start off with Daryl Dodge. When operated on auto, melee crit rate boosted by 17%. Alright, crit rate, not great. Auto, easy to meet the criteria for, but is it worth it? Not really. He has a defender job license. His stats are actually not terrible. He hits effectively at least 13k in most of his offensive stats before carryovers. That's a lot when you look at some of the 4-star pool that have less than 700. Like, what? Anyways, alright, statistically for a 3-star, Daryl's pretty okay. Transformer, 4 base, don't like the trait though. And let's check out Resident Berserker, Alan B. Beardsley. With power attribute, buff EX skill effect up 22%. It's a pretty solid boost. 22%. Pretty easy to get power attribute as well, especially considering her attribute's power. Mobile fighter for urban area. The mobile fighter tag is relatively difficult to get, so having another source of it's always appreciated. Numerically, the important part, we're looking at, so after carryover, you're looking at about 2900 melee attack. That's pretty good. She only really loses out to Altered Build Project pilots statistically. She gonna slap. Good stuff. If she ever gets an altar, we're screwed. Cool beans. And she has the Outfighter job license. Alright, Allenby's actually not bad. Obviously not amazing, but statistically she's really good. And she's got the mobile fighter tag, which immediately boosts her value a ton. Yeah, she's got the def conversion, for sure. That's, yeah. But hey, you know what? She's got the numbers. That's all that matters. Alright. So we're going to take a look at the... God, I need to stop fat fingering every single button on this phone. I swear. Anyways, let's move over to Alteration. We're going to take a look at the Twitter videos. Yay! Let's see, do you hook into the right thing or do I need to go hunting? I guess gotta go hunting. Not what I wanted to have up. We'll do this. Perfect. Cool beans. Refresh the page. What do we got? Alright, let's take a look-see at the Justice. So the arms, those are the boomerangs. That's exactly what I expected from them, frankly. Just a long-range beam melee. The Fatum 00. Alright, it's an okay animation. What about the Meteor? What does the Meteor look like? Alright, so that seems to be a more common trend these days with EX skills. So if you watch the beginning of this, the Meteor, so it fires missiles in front of it, and then it dashes forward. And as you can see, things are now moving in this part of it. Then it makes contact with the enemy and then begins the cutscene. So this is one of those things that could actually hit a wide area and hit multiple enemies as well. Which really does boost its net worth, frankly. The animation is extremely long, however. But let me check something. This freezes the clock, right? Or does it? No, it doesn't freeze the clock. Alright. So you're looking at about a 10-second long or so animation on this. So hey, if you like the meteor, I think it's a pretty neat animation. Shows off the strengths of the meteor, lots of stuff going on. But it is a 10-second long EX skill animation. It's kind of, yikes. Yeah, it's a multi-hit EX. The numbers are probably going to be really good on this too, because of all the hits that it incorporates, the fact that it does effectively 2 phases to it. But I don't know, man, 10-second animation time, that's a spicy time. But solid, all things considered. All right, where's our scrambly do? All right, let's take a look at you. What do we got? So we got the legs. Yep, that's exactly what I expected. Really bad animation. The shield. All right, it's a bog standard beam. Backpack. Ooh, that's a wide range beam. That's actually pretty terrifying looking. All right. Now, so TLDR, the Saber Rush is just no thanks. That's a write-off. The shield, as you can see with Alteration, has B+ power, A pierce. That actually has the potential to be really powerful. And has a low cooldown as well, so that's pretty nice. Well, relatively low cooldown. And then the Backpack EX skill, it looks really big and really flashy, but because of the amount of time you're spent holding that position down for that EX skill, I don't think the returns are really that great, especially considering it's a non-cutscene that has the cooldown of a cutscene with at maximum A- power D pierce. That just seems like a really bad overall investment, you know? Anyways, those are my thoughts on those. So let's take a look. What do we got here? Oh no. So what's in our permanent pool? Is the big X divider was last week, wasn't it? I know Strike Rouge is new, the Hot Scramble and the Justice are new. I don't think anything else is new other than the Rouge. So it's just the Rouge. Alright, cool. Alright, let's take a peek-see. What does the pink bastard Strike want? Oh no. I've created a mess of cables. Alright, there we go. I'll get rid of that cable. Alright, Strike Rouge. The head. Eagle Stellans. Alright, we don't even want to be here. Oh, right. Before I get too into this. So for anyone that's never seen me do Alteration talk before, which I bet I can count on one hand at this point, because it's more or less the same regulars that come to hang out, 10 out of 10. But in case you're new, when it comes to looking at alternated parts, primarily what I do is I look solely at the trait or the EX skill. There's less than 10 parts in the game that have a drastic stat difference after Alteration. It's safe to assume that they get a net bonus, or net gain, I guess is the proper way to put it. Word tags don't change, the stats are safe to assume they go up. All that will change is the EX skill or the trait numbers. That's all I really look at for this. However, before you do alternate a part, make sure you look at the before and after stats. Make sure it is what you want and what you need for your builds before doing it. Because that's on you. Do I have something against the Rouge? Like I said, it's the Strike's pink bastard. It's not a bad suit, it's just, why not just use the Strike? With speed attribute, enemy EX skill penetration reduced by 22%, while commander EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. Alright, that second trait's actually a pretty solid addition, all things considered. However, that first trait, still not really that amazing. Good trait 2, not so great trait 1. Arms. When armor is 60% or more, melee crit rate boosted by 17%. I've already talked about the crit rates. Back parts, EX skill power boosted by 30%. Alright. So there's a lot of really good backpack EX skills, and this would benefit them. However, I don't know if that first trait really makes it worth it. We do have some really nice alteration parts that do the same thing, or they just grant a general EX skill power boost on top of another really good symbiotic trait. This really isn't my cup of tea, but it's not terrible. The 30% boost is really good, especially considering this is an arena suit, meaning when it eventually comes back, should be easy to max out. Here, Rouge has higher performance. EX, no, I don't believe you. All right, legs, rapid thrust. We just went through this. I don't want to do it again. Strike Rouge backpack, railgun and single mounted cannon, D Pierce, B plus power, low AF cooldown. So this is one of those things that people love to cheese in arena and multi-missions because it's very powerful for what it is. And with this alteration, it just makes it even better. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. If you don't have the backpack, get the backpack. If you do have the backpack, I'd recommend alternating it. It's a good investment. Went to 3 seconds ICD from 6 seconds on its alter, if you're wondering. Wow, that's just what we needed. A 3-second ICD friggin' nuke. Hey, you know what else is about 3 seconds? The amount of time it takes for one-on-one arena's emergency warning to flare up. Meaning, second 0, you can pop that EX skill because the timer ticks even when you're in that warning phase. Alright, dual blades. With speed attribute, melee damage output boosted by a flat number. That's worthless. When attacking with physical, melee crit rate boost by 30%. I've had enough of seeing melee crit rate boosts. Strike Noir backpack versus Strike Rouge backpack. In my opinion, magazine will always trump the quick use EX skills purely because magazines, you literally can straight spam them. If you have 2 magazine skills on your suit, you can literally just like hit one the other, and you will just keep spamming all these magazine skills. It's an infinite barrage. And because you're able to move while using them, you can, if there's more than one enemy, you can freely dodge. You're able to change your targets as soon as you fire off one of your magazine skills. The backpack for the IWSP, to my understanding, you have to stand still briefly when using it. Yeah. So the only real upside to magazines versus this backpack is purely the fact that you can move while firing it and do other stuff. It's literally it, though. Combine Shield, Dual Shredder, A- Pierce, B- Power. Alright, so that's actually not a terrible EX skill. I wish it did go up to B Power, or even B+, potentially. But in its current form, it's not terrible. It's pretty okay. Pretty okay. Noir has a slow interval between magazine. That really depends on your build. If you get cooldown reduction, there is no delay between spamming. Alright. Good stuff. And the shield, the anti-beam shield. Outfighter job shooting damage taken reduced by a flat number. With speed attribute, enemy special shot power reduced by 30%. Before I talk about both of these styles of traits, So it's actually nice to see that the arena suits are really starting to get some love in the alteration field, from the mobile sumo now to the Strike Rouge. I will say, again, if you have the backpack for this, 100% alternate it. It's solid stuff. All right. Now let's take a look at the Big Justice Gundam. For anyone that doesn't know Big, as I explained earlier, if your entire 5-part core frame is big, your suit in battle will actually be bigger than everything else. If you fought some of the taller bosses in the game, that's pretty much what happens. You get a bigger suit to screw around with. On average, Big has higher stats than normal-sized parts, but their trait/EX skills tend to be lacking. If you mix and match big parts and sub-slotting smaller parts, you get a really nice stat boost out of it as well. So, anyways, let's take a look at the Justice Gundam's head alteration. With Power Attribute, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. With Power Attribute, EX skill power boosted by 35%. I really like this. The activation triggers on both of these is very symbiotic. Both of them require the Power Attribute, so this head is very easy to satisfy the requirements for the traits. The initial EX skill charge boost, like I said, I wish it was normal EX skill cooldown reduction, but, you know, in its CD, could be worse, frankly. Could be way worse. Could be regenerate 50 armor per tick or whatever. And the second one, EX skill power boost by 35%. A solid second trait. So you get a pretty okay trait 1 and a pretty okay trait 2. Not pretty okay, really good trait 2. And they're symbiotic, so I have no real complaints on that. Torso. Meteor Unit. D Pierce S Power. Yes, the shot attack boost has gone up to 49%, which is now the third highest mod in the game, because I believe we had 59%, 54%, and now 49%. Solid stuff. All right. Good boost, good power. No complaints there. Obviously, the only issue I have with the Meteor Unit EX skill boils down to the actual animation duration itself, but it looks really cool. You got lots of hits packed in there, so if you don't mind the 10-second animation period on it, enjoy just ravaging whatever you're fighting for those 10 seconds. All right. Arms. Not that it really matters. A Pierce B plus power. Okay, so here's the thing, right? This is effectively one of the not very few, it used to be very few, but now it's relatively few, ranged beam EX skills, or melee EX skills specifically. The reason this is a big deal is the modifier on melee EX skills is higher than shot, because you have to get in close for the melee ones. At least that's what I've seen anecdotally, so take it with a grain of salt. So what this means is you're getting kind of the best of both worlds here. You're getting the benefits of a ranged EX skill. Now you can sit in one place and eat shit out, but you also get the benefit of it having the melee damage mobs. Big damage. Big damage. Unless I'm mistaken, these also have slight homing, do they not? Yeah. So, in story, they have slight homing. I'm going to assume in this game, they're just dumb fire. You throw them and just fly straight at your enemy. You do fire 2 of them as well, mind you. So it is technically possible to kill 2 enemies with this EX skill. But you're probably going to kill 1 with them. With B plus power, A Pierce, it's going to do a lot of damage. It has a very low cooldown, and it's a ranged melee EX skill. Yeah, it's good, solid stuff. Yeah, Arm Slot does have very little ranged melee EX, so it is a good addition. It is a good addition there. Alright, legs. While high firepower, EX skill boost by 40%. Weapon reload speed down 10%, melee power boost by 40%. Now, the weapon reload speed down 10% is referring to your ranged weapon reload speed, mind you. So, if you don't mind your, neutral fire weapon taking a little longer to reload, here you go. Good boost, frankly. Melee power boosted by 40%, EX skill power boosted by 40%, and you just need high firepower. Nice. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Backpack. The Fatum. D Pierce S Power, 58% heal, 29% melee attack boost. For an alternated big part, it is kind of like a token melee attack boost. I was expecting it to go to like 39% or something. It is still an S Power EX skill, but the buffs are just really... They're really outclassed by other parts that are available in the limited pool. So, and the shield. Infighter job, enemy shooting power reduced by 30%. I've already talked about it, obviously. Back parts EX skill power boosted by 35%. Lots of really good back part EX skills. Solid boost. I'm not a fan of the first trait though, so I don't know if it's really worth it for just the second trait, but each to their own. Alright. Cool beans. And lastly, we got our Hot Scramble Alteration. While Ace exclusive, initial EX skill charge boosts by 20%, long shooter job EX skill power boosts by 35%. So this, even though the trait names aren't the trait triggers aren't the same, this is still symbiotic. The second one requires you to have the long shooter job license active, meaning you're running a pure shot machine. On shot machines, you almost always have ace exclusive because it's a 10% shot attack boost out of the box. So it's symbiotic in the fact that for one, you're probably going to have the other already active. So you get both of these benefits. Good stuff, you don't have to go out of your way. Solid numbers. Torso. When attacking with beam, shooting power boosted by 30%. Already talked about that. Back parts EX skill power boosted by 35%. So in this case, if you have a back part with a really good beam EX skill that's a shot, jackpot, here you go. Just so happens that this suit happens to fit those criteriums with its back piece. Conspiracy. Honestly, it's not that bad. I wish the second trait was more like a generic EX skill power boost, but I'll take it. Lots of good options for the back, like the Strike Noir. Although it does have to be beamed to benefit the first one, so I think you're better off maybe like the Eclipse backpack or something. Anyways, moving on, the arms. Melee damage raised 20%, shooting power boosted by 40%, and while ace exclusive EX skill power boosted by 40%. Again, a very symbiotic setup here. If you want to take advantage of the first trait, you're going to be running a shot suit because shooting power boosted by 40%. And if you're running a shot suit, you're going to have ace exclusive. There you go. Game, set, match. Legs, rapid thrust, D Pierce A power. Already talked about that one. Don't like that animation. It's kind of shit. Backpack, Buster Beam Rifle, D Pierce, A- power, shot defense up by 29%. As I said when I saw the animation, I don't think it's really worth it. You sit in place for a very long time, things can move, and it has the cooldowns of a cutscene, but it's not a cutscene. For A- power, D Pierce, I don't think it's worth it. It looks interesting, abso-friggin-lutely. I just don't think it's up to snuff, really. Beam Saber. After 15 seconds pass, reduce cooldown by 50% once, and shot damage raised 10%, EX skill power boosted by 35%. Yep, take 10% more shot damage, get an EX skill power boost. Nice second trait. I still don't really like that first trait, very limited use, but second trait, solid beans. Solid beans. Beam Rifle, what are we looking at? While ace exclusive, shooting power boosted by 30%, and a long shooter job gauge increase boosted by 20%. As I say, I'm not a big fan of the job gauge. Still don't like what it does. I still think it can be better and be more interactive, I guess. Yeah, could be worse. You know, one of those recover armor gradually things. But I think this is kind of a waste of a second trait. Statistically, it does break the 11k, as I figured it would. And lastly, our shield. Mega Launcher A Pierce B+ power. So, as we saw with the Twitter video, this has you point your shield at an enemy, fire a beam, and hold it for 3 to 4 seconds before letting up. During this, it hits multiple times, and, you know, B+ power A Pierce, it does good damage. I would say that this is something that is good against singular targets, purely because if there's more than one enemy and you whiff, you are now a target that does nothing for the duration, 3 to 4 seconds. But yeah, it's okay. But yeah, if it get dodged, man, like, considering it's a 15 seconds initial cooldown and 60 seconds for all other cooldowns, I don't think the animation really, like, suits it, you know? I wish it had been more of a quick burst, or maybe like the Virtue's gun where it quickly charges something and fires a slight homing weapon, you know? Okay, you know, it's got good, very good shot stats on it, almost getting to 7k shot defense after fully modified, so good stuff. Okay, well, with that, I've looked over all the new additions. I heard people talking about the 3.1 update information. Did they release the packet for that in the news section? Hey, I could have friggin' swore I hit that news pointer, not hanger. I guess I clicked too far to the left. Oh yes, 3.1 update maintenance notice. 3.1. Let's go. All right. Buckle up. Let's take a look at these patch notes. Yep, So they've already announced the league system that they're adding to the arenas, which is really cool because no more are we going to be bound to week by week constant resets. Now it's just keep playing. Cool beans. All right. So we have beginner, bronze, silver, gold, and master. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I see what. Okay, so they've gotten rid of the lettering ranking and they've just replaced it with the league rankings now because it resets every Sunday still. Okay, so they're just swapping out. Okay. League rewards. All right, so that's literally all they've done is they've just taken the week to week lettering system and just changed it to week league system. We'll just have to see how they implement it and what the rewards are. But it really seems like they rebranded it for a bunch of nothing. I thought this was going to be like a continuous ranking thing, but AI marks. Yep, we already knew about that. Additional slots will also be unlocked upon part trait level 5 and... Ooh. No. Okay. So I was on board with this whole AI mark system until they brought up the trait requirement. So for anyone that doesn't see the issue with that, for build project pilots that are relatively stacked, if you don't have multiple dupes of them to have their part trait leveled up, or you haven't been leveling them up, you're going to only be able to put a couple of marks in. This is definitely going to be, I think, a period where pick ticket pilots are going to rule for a while, because we're able to pick ticket them and instantly get them to level 10. So we'll be able to maximize their mark usages here in level 99 and everything. Yeah, that's an interesting decision. Toss them into the hangar. Yeah, sure. It just takes a really long time. Yeah. Well, we'll see what the meta shifts to with this, what pilots become really good, which ones become really bad. I can foresee a lot of the build project pilots, as was already mentioned, are going to get screwed. Yeah. All right, we're getting Chapter 17, which is the prequel to the Gundam Battlelog short films that are coming out later this year. And then we're getting Chapter 18, which is the sequel to the Battlelog films. So it's a very interesting set of stuff. Oh, cool. All right, so mission creation, we're getting score ranking now. That's neat. Oh, we can set sortie conditions. Oh. Yes. I like that a lot. So that was one thing I always felt was lacking whenever I looked at the missions. I don't know if I brought it up when I originally did my talk about the missions, but the fact that the player can just bring in whatever they want and run it, I feel really crippled a lot of the enjoyment that we could get from the creator missions. Because with that in mind, players can just jump in with their 100k power suits and just steamroll whatever challenge you have in place. But with this, you can actually set challenges, make it so that players have to think and play with much lower stats than they're used to. I'm quite excited to really play around with this a little more. Cool stuff. Additional tabs, SNS sharing, operator base. Cool. Custom abilities. All right, so we're modifying, yeah, operator base limit burst. We've got some new skills in here. Cool. They really needed to check these table widths though for mobile. Cool stuff. Gears. Yep, there's our 5-star gear rarity that we heard about on the stream the other day. And obviously extra rarities for all the other stuff too. Okay. Battle balance adjustments. Damage will be boosted for all melee attacks, excluding throw type and funnel type EX skills. There we go. So all actual close range melee skills are getting a buff. All long range melee skills are getting the middle finger because they're already too good. I'm okay with this. Previously, limited time alterations will be added to the regular lineup. Oh, that's really cool. So I guess all the limited time alters are being added back in. Dope. Series capsules. All right. And a new level cap increase. That's really nice. That bunny is terrifying. All right. That's a dope update. Jeez. All right. So, concerns. Pilot marks. I don't like the trait requirements. I really hope they roll those back and change it so you just have to I don't know, perhaps use some kind of uncap item on them or something that we can farm or trade in for. Because frankly, us requiring specific part trait levels for those extra marks is just kind of, in my opinion, a little ridiculous of an ask. Um, Beyond that, though, I think it's pretty much positive for everything else. I really like the changes for mission creation because it'll let me actually make a more authentic and true to form Morgan rate scenario, which I really wanted to do from the get-go. I can force players to use the strike and have them actually pit off against the other suits if I wanted to, or actually reenact it properly. And because we do actually have a Jin available, I can use that too. Quite excited to play around with it. Yeah, so good stuff. Anyways, guys, what's going on in the chat here? Fix for crit damage. I don't think they'll ever fix crit. I'm late, sorry about that. You joined just as I'm about to wrap up. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging in, tuning in, all that fun stuff. I gotta get to sleep. I have that FGO stream in like 6 hours I gotta be awake for, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'll see you guys all for the next GBGW content patch. Peace out.